Aloha, everybody. Welcome to the Hawaiiverse podcast, a podcast that supports local by living with our families until we're in our 30s because the cost of living is so effing expensive here. I love you, Grandma. As you all know, every episode we do a local business giveaway, and for this episode, we're giving away a hat from Sweet Enemy Clothing, a stylish streetwear brand that reminds people to never forget the reason. The owner, Drew Honda, is a great young entrepreneur and an even greater guy. So mahalo to Drew for providing the giveaway, and make sure you check it out on Hawaiiverse when this episode comes out. I'm stoked for this episode, so let's introduce our guest. Our guest today comes from the island of Oahu and is an internet star, to say the least. He is a Filipino-Italian entertainer, dancer, comedian, actor, and as some of you might know, a great storyteller. He has amassed thousands of followers all over social media with his great humor, contagious charms, and dance moves that could compete with anyone. Some say he's still looking for his dug to this day, but he's taking a break from that to come on our podcast today. His name is Kenneth Appelbaum, a.k.a. Kenneth the Great. Aloha, Ken. Welcome to the podcast.
Whoa!
How you doing?
I'm good. When you say my full government name, I feel like my dad's about to... Like, Kenneth! I'm like, oh, yeah. I get so,
You get on edge, right?
Yeah, I'm on edge, yeah. I feel like I'm in trouble or something.
Yeah, I was just telling you that I would never have expected your name to be Kenneth Appelbaum after seeing the first video of you, 2007.
You're about to expect the unexpected on this podcast because I'm about to blow your mind on some things.
Drop some bombs.
I'm gonna drop some bombs.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. I'm so happy that you're here, and you're a true OG. When I think of the OG YouTube Hawaii stars, I think of Ryan Higa, Alex Farnham, and you.
Wow.
You three, to me at least, were like the beginning of it all.
Those are some names, definitely. You make me feel old when you say OG. Like,
well, I mean,
I'm like the grandpa in the group, huh?
But I was still around the same age-ish when I was watching that too. So I'm getting towards that age as well. But we're young at heart.
There we go, for sure.
And we look young. That's the
main thing. That's the Filipino side, huh?
It's Japanese.
There you go.
And Korean.
Asian don't brazen, baby.
Yeah, exactly.
Or raisin. Is that what it is?
Asian don't raisin.
Asian don't raisin, yeah.
And I know that you have this whole fame on the internet, but you're a pretty normal guy. You love sports. You love just like kicking it with the homies.
I'm the chillest. I try to be the chillest dude. Like just the typical next door neighbor. Kid. Just yeah. What you see on social media, on the internet, whatever. It's definitely different than what it is in real life. I'm very, very chill.
Yeah, and you're a big basketball fan, right?
I love basketball. Love sports.
Yeah, I see you balling every now and then. You got a pretty good jump shot.
Yeah, I'm all right.
You follow your shot. I see on your last video.
That's then. Are you talking about where the ball kind of bounced around the rim?
Oh, it came back to you and then you followed up.
Yes, that's how you know. You're I'm not really a true shooter, but when you have that shooter's bounce, all the maybe it was a lucky shot, but anyways,
at the end it went in. That's all. There you go.
At the end of the day, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I just want to ask you real quick. What's your thought on the Nets trade, the Nets and the 76ers trade?
I woke up to that, and I just had a good conversation with my other sports homies, and I thought it was a pretty fair trade. I mean, now Ben Simmons gets to actually play, and from what the reports were saying, Harden was unhappy in Brooklyn.
They're both unhappy where they were.
Oh yeah, exactly. And the Nets doesn't necessarily need a shooter, so Ben Simmons would fit perfectly. I don't know how Irvin's going to be playing with the home game situation, but it makes sense. Philly got to keep Matisse, which was huge. I know that was why the trade was so prolonged, because he was, believe it or not, was one of the main focal points, because they didn't want to.
He's a young, good player.
More so on the defensive side, they didn't want to, let that go. So all in all, I felt like it was a pretty fair trade. Seems like both players are happy to be in the location that they're at, and it kind of just works well with both the rosters, and we'll see what happens. So I hope they play in the Eastern Conference Finals, and
crazy. And
I hope it goes 7. I hope there's a fight at the end of the day.
I think the Nets won that trade.
You think the Nets won that? I mean, it. You can slice and dice however you want to. You can say one. The Nets won it. One Philly won it. I like to say this both kind of won it. But we'll see what happens because still got to play the game, still got to, mesh well with other people, and we shall see. I really don't care for both. I'm a Lakers fan, so which
they're struggling right now, but they'll get it together.
Some tough times right now.
Yeah,
for sure.
Okay, last sports question before we get into everything, because I know not everybody's into sports, which I don't know why. Everybody should love sports. There's so many life lessons that come out of sports.
Exactly.
It's not just thing. Grown men and women playing against each other, competing. There's a lot you can learn from.
There's a lot you can learn from.
But anyways,
for sure.
who do you think is gonna win the Super Bowl? We're recording this on January. January.
We are.
Time flies. We're in
February 10th, sir.
February 10th. A couple days before the Super Bowl. So, who do you think is gonna win the Super Bowl?
Man, the way it's been going, I have no answer for it. But in my personal opinion, the better team, the better defense. At home, I would have to slightly go with the Rams. I know everyone's, on Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals job, rightfully so. They've been playing, really good football. But on the other side of things, you got Stafford, who's balling out of his mind, and his receiving core, especially with Kupp leading the way, and that front seven from the Rams is it's pretty hard to stop. So
and the Bengals have a bad O-line.
They do have a bad O-line. I mean, look what the Titans did. I mean, they were lucky to win the. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Imagine with Aaron Donald, one of the.
I know Von Miller too.
One of the better players in the league, along with Miller, and then
with Jalen Ramsey covering.
That's a tough assignment. So I would give a slight edge towards the Rams, and I just feel like with all the attention going towards the Bengals, might be a good opportunity to. Shock the world in a weird way since they're at home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's funny. Well, it's going to be a great Super Bowl, and I'll be happy for either team if they win because, Stafford finally gets his ring, OBJ gets his ring. Burrow and the Bengals, they have a really rough history. So
I'm going to stop you right there, and you hit the nail on the head. I'm a big Raiders fan.
Yeah.
As long as the Chiefs don't win the Super Bowl or even the Niners, I don't care who wins this one.
Yeah. So what about the Broncos and Chargers? You don't care about them?
Oh, hell no. No. Anyone in our division, especially if I can put it in order, Chiefs, Broncos, and Chargers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I hate them in that order for sure.
Right, well,
I hate them equally, but
a little less for some people.
Yes, for sure.
Awesome. Well, before we get into things, I just want to get to know you a little bit more. Where you from? Where you grad? Just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Ooh, well, I'm from Ewa Beach, Hawaii, one of the hottest places on this damn island. I graduated Campbell High School. What else?
What was growing up like over there? What did you do? What kind of things were you into?
Okay, so, man, well, I played sports, all my life. Believe it or not, baseball since I was 3 years old, all the way up until freshman year. That's what I wanted to be when I wanted to grow up, be a professional athlete, more so a baseball player. That was my first real big dream. And when I entered high school, I stopped playing sports and I got introduced to this thing called skateboarding. And now I'm not saying I was going to be a professional baseball player or whatever, but just that's one of the few things I kind of regret was not playing high school sports. Got introduced to this rolling wood thing called skateboarding. And I remember my dad, I specifically remember him saying, going into ninth grade, he's like, "You're not going to try out for the baseball team?" I'm like, "Nah, Dad, I'm a skater." And he's just like shaking his head like, do you, I guess. So, and it was funny because I skateboarded for 4 years, basically all of my high school career. And then I went back to loving sports again. So that kind of hurts a little, not be able to play at least high school sports, experience that. And not saying I was going to be a professional athlete, but I think that's why I play more now. I mean, maybe not baseball. Can't really play a pickup baseball game, but more so basketball because it's easy to just go to the court, shoot some hoops by yourself or play, with random peeps or with your homies. So, and then when I was a skateboarder, I wanted to be a professional skateboarder, and I was like all into that. Obviously wasn't good enough to.
How good were you? Like you could do all the pretty.
I was all right,
like half pipe kind or just like street.
I was definitely into street skating. Like I don't know if anyone knows skateboarding, but like Paul Rodriguez, Eric Costin, all these like OG guys at that time. They were the best of the best, and I would try to hit some curbs. Eventually led to like ledges, some stairs. Let's just say, if I can put it in a nutshell, I remember kick flipping an 8 stair, which is not too bad, I guess, right?
Yeah. You could see that in Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Yeah. And yeah, skateboarding actually led me to the love of making videos because I love art. I love creating, and within skateboarding they have skate videos, right? So like a certain skate brand that would have their skate team, and they would make a video for the brand, right? And that was like the exciting thing as a skateboarder is like, oh, did you see the new Toy Machine video or the new Element video, right?
Yeah, I remember watching some of those.
So if you remember watching skate videos, like the way they like compiled it and edited it, and it was a beautiful thing. So that actually got me into making videos, and the love for hip hop was from skateboarding. I loved hip hop since I was a kid. Prior to that, but like I would say just more so in depth, because in the skateboarding world, it's kind of like an underground, street thing, and that opened up to like artists that like because I love hip hop. Hip hop is gonna segue into dancing because I love dancing, and in the midst of skateboarding in my high school days, I got into dancing as well. Well, I don't know if this was considered dancing, but I used to think Harlem shaking and sea walking was like, I was the top dog, and that was the only 2 moves I can do. But I literally practiced that to the T, and I was thinking I was the best dancer in the world. But so when my skateboarding career ended, which pretty much right when I graduated, I got really heavy into dancing, and crumping was the one dance style that just I gravitated towards and just like sucked me in. It was this documentary called Rise. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
Was it with the guy
Tie Dyes?
Tie Dyes.
Yeah, so Tie Dyes and Big Mijo are the creators of Crump.
Yeah.
And there was this documentary that they were a part of that came out in 2006. Funny story. So before I got into Crump, I was the Sea Walker Harlem Shaker, not the Harlem Shake that the
like not the trend, the fad.
Yeah, not that one. Like the real Harlem Shake.
Yeah, the actual dance move.
The actual dance move, and that was only 2 moves I had, but like I thought I was the best dancer in the world, like right next to MJ. But
not Michael Jordan.
Not Michael Jordan, but
not the sports. He's not into sports yet, guys.
But yeah, I remember I went to my friend's house, and he actually told me about Crump. And he's like, yo, I think you'd be dope, getting into Crump and being a crumper. I was like, what's Crump? And he's like, oh, just type it in YouTube. I was like, what the hell is YouTube? Like that's how old I am. And here I, don't know how to spell Crump. I'm thinking it's with a C, right? So I put in CRUMP, and this white boy comes up, and like, it just looked like he was having a seizure. I'm like, oh man, my friend set me up. Like, this is Crump. Like, yeah. He was definitely trolling me.
Yeah, like a Rickroll kind of thing.
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt. I was like, wow, okay, whatever. And I remember a couple of months down the line, my coworker of mine, I was working construction at the time. Yeah, believe it or not, I was a construction worker, slamming hammers.
Talented guy doing all kind of things.
Arm hurts still to this day, but I remember, he knew I loved dancing, and same thing. He's like, yo, I think you would love Crump. There's this movement called, Crumping and whatever. You should check it out. But I'm like, oh, no. I already checked it out. You're not going to troll me. And he's like, no, it's a legit thing. Like, there's a documentary about it, these LA dancers. you know, about their whole, it's about their whole movement and how they started and, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, giving second thoughts about it. I was like, all right, if you think it's a legit thing, because he said it was on, I almost said Netflix. Netflix was not even born yet.
What was it on YouTube?
No, he told me to get it at Tower Records.
Oh, Tower Records.
Remember Tower Records? Yeah. So he's like,
just, right?
Yeah. He's like, get the DVD and it's going to change your life. I'm like, all right, whatever. So I go to Tower Records and I see it and I'm like, oh, okay, well, was a black man on the cover, so it wasn't the white boy that I saw on YouTube. So I was like, all right, cool. I bought it. Literally 30 seconds into the documentary, I was like, that was it. I dropped everything that I knew, which was only C walking and arm shaking, and
everything that I knew, those two things,
those two moves, and I'm gonna be a crumper because that blew my mind. To be,
what was it about it that you were drawn to?
Well, just the way they moved their body, it just captured my soul because it was like it just looked cool. And then of course the documentary was about kind of the history of crumping and clowning at that time. So long story short, tie-dyes, which you mentioned earlier, and this guy named Big Mijo, they created this dance. They were clowners. Clowning is like what you would do at the parties, like the booty shaking, twerking kind of, that type of dance. So there was a movement in LA where Tommy the Clown would go to these parties and just kind of entertain the party like that with these dancers. Tie-dyes and Mijo were so they're from LA, real raw and street and rugged. They really couldn't move their booty. They weren't really flashy like that. They kind of just created their own style, and the basic foundation to crump was chest pops, arm swings, and stopping, right? And from there, they're like, well, because they were clowners, if I'm not mistaken, and they kind of just transitioned to making their own movement and style called crumping, and
which looks really aggressive, right?
Yes.
Even you're just looking at it on the surface level.
And I think that's what, I just loved it because it just looked like a different type of hip hop to me, right?
You're angry and you're punching the air.
In a way, yes. Right? In a way, yes. But there's definitely
technique.
Just like any other dance, there's technique. There's meaningful movements and storytelling and all this and that. And so if you ever watch tie-dyes on YouTube, this man was meant to be placed on this earth to create this dance. And not trying to be biased, but I recently saw a video on him, a couple months back, that they just posted on YouTube. And this man should not be moving his body like this. But what I was trying to say is this.
I saw that one video.
It was
small, quick movement.
I can't explain it. You have to see it not only in a dancer's eyes, but as in a crumper's eyes as well. But this man is the greatest dancer, if not top 3 in this world. He was meant to be a dancer in this world. But anyways, he created the dance with Mijo. Started in LA. It grew, within the city, then the state of California, then the other states. Now it's worldwide. It's been in movies. It's a household name now.
It's been on dance competitions. I used to watch America's Best Dancer, and at some point that was a theme for one of the dances. Yeah,
it's just crazy how he started this with his bro, in their living room, in the ghetto part of LA, and now it's worldwide. It truly is worldwide. It's it used to be kind of laughed at and frowned upon because it was a fad. It wasn't a real dance. And when as I think they started in the summer of 2000 or 2001, and 20 years later, it's a household dance name now, or style.
Where I actually might have saw it the first time was, remember that show Buried Life on MTV? It was these 4 friends.
Might have.
They were going out and completing things on their bucket list.
Okay.
And one of the things was to learn how to crump or something like that. And they had tie-dyes in the
really?
episode.
Wow. See, there you go.
This is like probably like 2010, maybe even before that.
Wow.
Yeah. Very life.
I haven't watched MTV in a very long time.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people
I'm sure
watch
if I
it these days.
seen the, what the show looked like, I would probably remember. But
that's
yeah.
a throwback. Cool.
But yeah, that's crumping. Like it's definitely not a fad. It's real dancing because it kind of incorporates a lot of other dance styles like African pop, and you can even throw some b-boy. To me, okay, so I'm really gonna get real nerdy on this. So when I started crumping, right? And crump kind of derived from like, I'm not saying it's a gang dance, but like because they're from LA, they kind of use that the gang culture, like little homie, big homie kind of thing, right? I don't know if you're familiar with that. Like, oh, that's my little homie right here.
Mm-hmm.
If you're from LA or from that west side part of the town, but in Crump, there's you have Crump families. So like if your name is Big Shaka, you're the big homie of the Shaka family, right? Mm-hmm. Shout out to Shaka T, by the way. You know what I mean? This is your dad's brand, right?
No, not my dad. He grows Mamaki tea.
Oh, okay,
This is a Mamaki tea based drink.
Yes,
but Shaka tea, they're awesome. Yeah.
This thing is the one. It's very refreshing.
Yeah, I gotta go check them out.
But if you're the big homie, if you're Big Shaka, you're the big homie of the Shaka family. Mm-hmm. And then you can have little homies, little students that you take under your wing, and you can have them as Little Shaka, Little Shaka, Kid Shaka, Junior Shaka. You have names, and then
I've seen people with names like that. Actually, so when I lived in Madagascar, I was in Madagascar for 3 years. I had a group of friends that loved crumping.
Okay.
And then one of his names was like Little Creed or
okay,
something.
Yeah.
Like Kid something.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wonder where they're getting these names from.
Yeah, so that's they're part of. So Little Creed. Yeah. His big homie is Big Creed.
Yeah. Okay. Also, kind of crazy. It's so big that it went to Madagascar.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, wait, hold on. Is
right?
Madagascar in Africa?
It's on the opposite side of the world.
Okay, well, like I said, Crump is worldwide. It's everywhere. It truly is.
Yeah, I went to one of his dance competitions too. It's super cool.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to put it in perspective, tie-dyes, being the co-creator of this dance. He has a little homie, so like little tie-dyes, baby tie-dyes.
Okay.
So his little homie at the time was, he had little tie-dyes, aka Rapture. Mm-hmm. I'm under Rapture as young Rapture.
You.
Yes.
Specifically you. Wow.
Me as Ken.
Yeah.
So in a sense, my grand homie is the creator of Crump. So
that's insane.
I'm not too far off of like, where I'm at, and
that's a cool flex.
At one point,
Okay, well, so how did you get connected to great? If you got into dancing and after skateboarding and not playing sports, and then you ended up being connected to great, but that's not your dancer name.
No. So okay.
This is what everybody wants to know, I'm sure.
Yeah, This is the $1 million question, because it will truly blow a lot of people's minds.
Yeah.
So how do I get connected to great?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You're already great. You're already Ken.
Mm-hmm.
Eth. And how did those two combine?
Okay. Actually, yeah. This is perfect. So, this is very, very perfect. When I mentioned about skateboarding and videos, right? How I love art and creation. So after skateboarding, kind of segue into dancing, right? Mm-hmm. And instantly, I was the Harlem Shaker Sea Walker guy in high school, but I transitioned to being a full-time, like, I want to crump. Like, this is the coolest thing in the world. So no one taught me how to crump. I kind of just learned, once I watched that documentary Rise, I was like, well, there's got to be more, right? So I went online and searched if there was other crump DVDs or whatever. Sure enough, there was like a whole series, and it was all tie-dyes, and, kind of like teaching it, and so I instantly became the student of the game, started learning how to crump through these videos. Then I told myself, like, I can't be the only crumper here in Hawaii. Like, there's got to be other guys doing this, right? No, maybe. Am I the only one? Okay, cool. And then when I found out there was this crump crew called Crumping. Well, that was a tongue twister. I don't know if you remember or heard about it.
Oh, I seen it on YouTube.
Okay, yeah, they were a pretty big thing, and I was like super excited, like, whoa, there's other crumpers that do this, cool, all right. So I hit them up, like to meet up and like just kind of session with them and just just vibe with them. I don't want to just be crumping in my garage all the damn time. So,
wait, real quick, how did people hit each other up back then?
Oh, this was
MySpace.
Yeah, it was definitely MySpace.
Was it MySpace?
It was it was definitely MySpace.
The one date ourselves about.
Yeah, I can see why I'm the OG, right?
yeah. But yeah, shout out to MySpace.
Shout out to MySpace for sure. Yeah, MySpace kind of connected with them, and from there, I became a part of the crew, and at the time they were kind of a big thing. Mm-hmm. So quick story. California obviously being the number one state for Crump. And then there was a pretty well-known crumper named Crush, who was a part of not only the Miho but Tie-Dye's family. He moved to Vegas and kind of built Vegas's movement. So they became the second best state out of the 50th state. And believe it or not, at the time, around 2007, 8, 9, Hawaii was third.
Oh, no way.
In as far as best crump state in the country.
How did they quantify that? Or how did they?
Well, like we used to bring a lot of crump. They were called Crump Kings. Like the top dogs, like truly like superstar crumpers. At the time, like living legends. We would shout out to Romeo Valentine. He was actually one of the first 3 crumpers that brought crump to Hawaii. And he would always throw these events and spend his hard-earned money.
Familiar.
He does radio here.
Oh, okay.
Well, not here, but like.
Okay, I've heard that name before. Okay.
But him, his brother, and this guy named Ty brought crump to Hawaii. They were the first crumpers, and they would spend their hard-earned money bringing these guys down to throw events, and that's how Hawaii was put on the map. We would host these events and bring these guys and created this buzz, and like we were popping at that time. Like Hawaii was truly the top 3 state out of all the states. Then I don't know, everyone's kind of stopped dancing, whatever, and just kind of faded away. But at one point we were like right there. So the connection to like the source of all of all the crump things, we were like right there. Because some of us were under the Crump Kings, like myself. I was under Rapture, who at the time was Little Tie-Dyes, who's now, if I'm not mistaken, Twin Tie-Dye. So he's still under him. But I know at one point he left, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, so.
It's so interesting the history of all
this. I'm a nerd on these things.
I'm enjoying this whole history of Crump because I don't know too much about it. So I hope everybody listening is enjoying it.
Yeah, hopefully you don't get bored me nerding out on it. But I'm a nerd on a lot of things that I love. But yeah, so for Crump, like, for Crumping, sorry, going back to the story, I know I tend to lose track, but
okay, I'm following.
I was part of Crumping, and they had, because they were so big, they created a YouTube, right? And I had their account. So I remember I moved to California back in 2007 just to kind of like, live life on my own. Plus my dad kicked me out. I really had no choice.
I chose to leave when he kicked me out.
Yeah, so I had no choice. So it was cool. I moved with my good friend at the time, Jeffrey Ramos, and he's a big part of Connecticut Grade. You'll see why. Okay. So we moved to California, and when I moved there, I had literally no friends, just my roommate, my best friend at the time, no car. I was fortunate to get a job right away, and I have to pay the bills, right? So I was working at a hospital as a courtesy shuttle driver.
Oh, interesting.
Right? Okay. So typical, just 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. So when it came to the weekends, it was like the same thing over and over because I had no car, really no friends. Just hang out with the bro at home and just trying to figure out what we're going to do. Is another movie night, so boring, right? And I am California being the birthplace of Crump. There was a Crump event happening, right? And I really wanted to go. And I remember my friend from high school, he was already living in California, and he kind of like was interested in Crump. And I was like, yo, you want to go to this Crump event? He's like, yeah, I'm down. Like, this is dope. Like, let's do this. And I was very, very excited because a lot of the guys I looked up to were going to be at that event. So I was anticipating this for a couple of months, right? And this is where Connecticut Great's this is where he was born. So fast forward to that day. I had a ride. I was excited. It was going to be a weekend where I wasn't going to do the same thing with my roommate. Not that, I didn't want to hang out with him, but I was like, I got to be at this Crump event. I was excited. And, well, only to get disappointed because he bunked out on me that day.
Your ride.
My ride. My friend who wanted to check out Crump, check out the Crump scene, whatever. He bunked out that day, and I was devastated. Like, I was really, really sad. Like, well, here goes another, like I said, weekend of just doing the same thing. And I remember Jeffrey Ramos, my roommate, my best friend at the time, he knew I was bummed, and he tried to cheer me up because he was into photography, right? He just got this camera. He wanted to cheer me up by taking MySpace photos. Like, that's going to cheer me up. So I said yes. I see what he was trying to do, pick me up, whatever. And
shout out to him.
Shout out to Jeff. He's trying to take these photos. He's all into, different angles, whatever. And then he noticed he can capture video, right? And he's like, yo, let's do a video. I'm not really in the mood. I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. What do you want to do? He's like, after all, like, okay, me explaining that I was like wanted to be a baseball player, skateboarder, a dancer. In the midst of all that, you could say I was a funny dude. I was the class clown kind of guy, right? So I always had these weird characters that I would portray. And at the time, it was a high-pitched, local kind voice. So when he's like, yo, let's do a video, I'm like, well, what kind of video you want? He's like, I don't know, you're the comedian. Whatever comes to your mind, whatever. So at the time, like I said, it was a high-pitched, local character dude.
Go to YouTube, type in Connecticut Great, and look it up.
Yes, and this is going to trip a lot of people out. So I was like, okay, well, I went with that character. He started filming. Literally, I didn't script anything. Like, whatever came to my mind at that moment, I said what I said. Apparently, I wanted a dog. I don't know why I said it, and even in that way, I really don't.
A Doog.
A Doog, yeah, sorry. D-O-O-G. I really don't know why I said what I... Like, he just literally recorded, and I went off.
You just
went off in that...
character.
Yeah. So, after that video was done, he immediately wanted to post this right away, right? I'm like... And me personally, I thought it was the dumbest thing in the world. I didn't think it was funny. Because I was bummed out. Like, my mind was sad because I wanted to go to this Crump event that I was anticipating for like 2 months. Didn't happen. He forced me to do this video pretty much, and he wanted to post it. I was like, why? He's like, I don't know. You just got to post it. So at the time, it was either MySpace TV, I don't know if you remember that, or YouTube. And because I had Crumping's YouTube account because I was a part of that crew, and plus, MySpace TV was very brand new, so I was like, I'll just put it on YouTube. YouTube was very, very young. Yeah. I think YouTube started in 2005. This was 2007, so it was only 2 years in. So, all right, let's post it on YouTube. And right before I posted, like, whoa, you got to have a name and a title and all this and that. I'm like, okay. Like, he was so serious about it, right? Very adamant about, like, I'm like, what are you, my manager?
I was thinking that. Manager?
So he's like, all right, well, I was telling a story. My name is Kenneth. And because I was doing in a local way, Kenneth in Hawaiian is Connecticut. So I was like, story time with Connecticut. He's like, I like it, but it needs more. I'm like, damn, he's really serious about,
Yeah, his board.
Yeah, he was.
What's it called? His just like notes over here with his pen in his hand.
For sure. Right? No, he was on one. So I was like, okay, well, I don't know how. I didn't think this was gonna I had to use my brain on this, but I was like, all right, story time with Connecticut. Well, sticking to the local theme, I was like, Kamehameha the Great, Connecticut the Great. Story time with Connecticut the Great. What do you think about that? He's like, that's the one. I was like, all right, whatever. So that's how I got the name, but it gets better. Before I even continue on, I'm going to say I giggle, still to this day, I'll never forget that day. That was November 17th, 2007. Still to this day, when people say what's up to me using that Kaneke, or just in general, because I feel like people know me from my videos, which stem from that first one. I giggle till this day because to myself, I giggle to myself to this day because that was on an accident. And the reason why was because I'm gonna tell you now. Now I'll continue. So right before we posted on YouTube, I had no intentions to be whatever famous, get recognition.
Virality wasn't really a thing back then.
No, not at all. Like I didn't even want to do the video. I was supposed to be at that Crump event. So when we posted it, I didn't care. I really didn't. Like that was not my intentions to whatever. I was already going back home in December, right? And this is the power of social media. I think after a week I posted it, I just checked it real quick. Like it was like 50 views, one comment like, oh, funny. So I'm like, whatever, I didn't care. When I went back home, I got so many like stares and I was like, oh, did I do something wrong? Like going to Foodland or going wherever, like get those stares,
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell's going on? I remember one dude came up to me, he's like, hey, what you doing over here? Aren't you supposed to be on the internet? I was like, what are you talking about? I totally forgot about the video, right?
Yeah.
Like it was way in the back burner in my head. And I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, the video, the dog, I like one dude. And I was like, yeah. I was just so like shocked that, people were like coming up to me, talking about that and telling me to do more, blah, blah, blah. The only reason why I did more is because people wanted to see more. So I actually went back to the video. This was a month, right? Because it was November 17th, probably less than a month because I was coming back for Christmas. And I went back to the video and it was like 50,000 views, 100 plus comments. And I was blown away. I was like, whoa, just like less than a month ago, it was just,
Yeah, and that 50,000 views back then is like the equivalent to 1 million views these days.
Right, because...
Yeah, I mean, same with money, right? 100,000 in the 60s is like way more now, right?
I was like, oh, snap. Like, this is crazy. And like I said, all the comments were like, oh, do more. I'm like, you want to see more of this? Like, this is dumb. Like, so that's the reason why I made Connecticut a Great Part 2, so on and so forth. But, like, the power of social media was crazy because, like I said, everywhere I went, like, I would get these stares and I'm just like, felt uncomfortable. Like, do you want to fight me? Like, I mean no harm, So... so I could continue doing more, because got to give the people what they want, right? So with all that being said, this is why I giggle inside. Like, what are we now, 15 plus years later?
Yeah.
Still make videos and people still say what's up to me. And when it's just funny when they say, oh, what's up, connecting, like just that simple, like, greeting. I giggle inside because this was on an accident. I was supposed to be at that Crump event.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I was supposed to be at that dance event, having a good time, watching my favorite dancers, do their thing. But I end up making a video talking about a dog. I don't even know why. Like, it was just right at that moment, whatever I said, it was unscripted. And it led to... Here we are now, like I'm doing a podcast with you.
Now you're
this, like...
Connecticut great. You're well known here. And what's crazy is I grew up in Hilo. I'm from Hilo. I moved to Kaiser High School my senior year in 2010. And that's when I started hearing. I didn't even see the video yet because in Hilo we're all into Ryan Higa, right? He's from Hilo, so we all watch his videos. And so that was like within 5 years of YouTube being created. And then I'd be at Kaiser or just around people, and they'd always say these phrases like, far back, or just like something new. Like,
wow.
Like these phrases, I'm like, why are they saying this?
Right.
I hope people are so weird.
Yeah.
And then I guess like I eventually figured out it's from a video, and then that's when I saw your video. And I was like, yeah, you gotta watch this. And it's one of those things in high school, right? Everyone's like, I'm saying, oh yeah, you gotta check this out. Everybody's gathering around computers. I don't think we had like YouTube on phones yet, but yeah. And then that's when like the whole just like Connecticut a great era was just like, it was so huge on Oahu.
Sheesh.
But I can't really. I'm sure everybody on the outer islands knew about it too. But on Oahu specifically, everybody knew about it.
Yeah, like going back to how powerful social media was. Like, I was getting, MySpace, right? Like just DMs, like from people that either I haven't heard from in a long time or just strangers. Like, just keep at it and blah blah blah. You made my cousin's day, and I'm just like. And think in my head, like, this is like, because it was stupid to me. Like, I was talking about a dog in a weird way, and if they like it, they like it. That's cool. I appreciate it, but that was never my intentions to be a comedian or get this recognition or whatever the case. Like, I just did it because my roommate was trying to cheer me up.
Yeah.
And I was supposed to be at that Crump event, like I said. That's why I truly, still to this day, I'll never forget that. Like, I giggle inside when people say what's up to me in the streets.
We're never supposed to be where you're at right now. It's crazy how life works like that.
It's crazy. I do believe everything happens for a reason, and maybe there was a reason why I wasn't supposed to go to that Crump event.
Yeah.
Even though I wanted to, still to this day, but whatever.
Well, you did do other dance events, right? Because I know you competed in World of Dance and
so I still
these things.
Still dance and while making these videos. I was still an active dancer and did the whole dance thing, entered competitions and blah blah blah. Yeah.
So it's always something that you're gonna do regardless of your social media career.
Yeah, well, at the time, I mean, I'm old now. I mean, I can still bust a move here and there, but
I saw that. I saw your videos.
I wouldn't consider myself I would have considered myself an active dancer, but it's like riding a bike,
Yeah, exactly.
Just pick it up and
go
at it.
So during that Connecticut the Great inception, that era when it was just so big, was everybody just going up to you like, hey, do the voice, like, do this, say this?
Still
like,
to this day.
Yeah, do you want a dog? Or
still to this day, I'm like...
Still to this day.
You know what trips me out? Literally just this happened, like, I went to the mall, and there was this kid, maybe like, no older than 10 years old, right? And he's like reciting the lines. He's like, oh, Kaneki, oh, I like one dude. Like, he was going off, and I was like I'm tripping, because... Going back to like I Giggle Inside, but even more so, I'm like, wait a minute, this video was older than you. How the hell do you know this? So it's crazy. I guess he must have like an older brother or whatever,
or like the dad or mom,
or something. Like the generation has been.
Yeah, they grew up watching it, and then they showed it to their kid or something. Like,
trips me out even more.
Yeah,
so.
Generational talent right there. That's you.
Oh man.
It is trippy though, and like the thing with YouTube, it's gonna be there forever. Your kids are gonna watch it.
Yeah, I'm gonna be known as the dog boy forever. I really can't get away from that.
Why are you talking like this? That's awesome. And so, something I want to talk about right before we get into Instagram questions is like the cancel culture. Like social media. So you're a public figure, and if you've been keeping up with everything on social media, you said something wrong, you do something wrong like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 30 years ago, they will find it and they will just put you on blast for it. I mean, you see what's going on with Joe Rogan right now, right? And like watching that video, I'm just like, this video would not get by these days, right?
No, not at all.
Yeah, there was some explicitives said in that, and I was just like, and of course, different times, right?
Different times, for sure, yeah.
It was just like, not saying it was okay to say it,
right?
But it was more normalized, to say certain words, Even like one of the F words. I'm not saying the swear word, just like the other word. Like I remember growing up, and I would say it all the time with my friends, you know? Yeah, and even like the word gay, Like we would use that growing up. It's like, oh, that's so gay.
Now it's more
a little bit more sensitive. We realize it's not okay to say it anymore. But it's just crazy because the times we lived in, nobody really cared about that, right?
Yeah. So like, sorry, Mom, for cursing for all those years. But like, I grew up in the '90s. Like, especially when it came to like comedy, I literally saw all different types of comedy. Like, my white Italian dad bought the whole Comedy Jam, set, all 20 of them, plus the 2 Raw for TV. So like, as a little kid, I'm watching this, and of course, like I got, Jim Carrey's one of my favorites, and all these different types of styles of comedy, and of course, it was a different time back then. So it's like you said, it was like normal. Like, not that I, was going around saying F-bombs all the time, but it was just like, I don't know. It was just part of that time, and yeah. So I would say I had this conversation with my other like comedian friends. Like, it's so hard to be a comedian nowadays because you really got to watch what you say, and or before that cancel culture gets on you. But
Dave Chappelle too, right?
You know what I mean? Like,
tried to cancel him.
It's definitely a different time. If I could say anything on that, I'm like, ever since I was born, I always told myself I'm gonna stay true to myself, since birth. So I'm never gonna waver or switch up. I'm still gonna have that same mindset and mentality. So if people want to follow me, hey, kudos. If not, it's all good. I'm just gonna keep going straight. So like whether, in whatever I do. So I don't really try to pay attention to like cancel culture or whatever. Like I don't try to pay attention and watch what I say. I mean, of course I do, but like,
to a certain extent, right?
To a certain extent. Like if I think this is gonna be funny, well, I'm not gonna care what you think. Like that's just where I stand on that. Like.
So you're not worried about being canceled?
Not at all. If you want to cancel me, by all means, go ahead. Like I'm still gonna.
Yeah, you'll make a lot of other people laugh.
Hopefully, yeah. I mean, I don't really think that I'm that funny, but like I said, if they want to follow my journey and the ride, by all means. But I don't want to take away from being like, if I think something's super funny and it may be controversial to some, but it's really not because they just think everything is controversial, then that's on you. Like I'm a creator. I'm gonna comes to mind. I think it's funny, and I think what other people thinks it's gonna be funny. I'm gonna go ahead and do it.
Yeah, everybody has their own opinions, and
I look at it like this. I think this is what kind of like I had this mindset where no matter what, you can't please everyone, right? Because if you take the most innocent, beautiful thing in this world, say a kid riding a bike, sure, if you put that on YouTube, they're gonna have a video about a kid riding a bike, sweet innocent kid riding a bike, but I guarantee you there's gonna be dislikes, hate comments, all this and that, but it's just a kid riding a bike. So that just tells me no matter what, good or bad, people are gonna just dislike you for regardless. Like you can't please everyone, and I'm fine with that. It's all good.
Right when you were saying that, I was thinking, people are gonna be like, oh, that bike's too small. Oh, how
yeah, exactly. They're gonna complain about
he's riding like this. Oh, why doesn't he have a helmet? Like,
they're gonna complain about something. So I'm like, you know what? Regardless if you do something good or bad, they're gonna talk about you.
People got too much time on their hands.
Yeah, I'm like, like I said, I'm just gonna keep going straight.
Yeah, stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane.
Right on. All right, so let's get into Instagram questions. There's some funny ones. Usually I do like 2, 3, but we have 6.
Okay.
Yeah. So Reken_808, I think you might know this person. They said ask him to do the Mickey voice.
Oh, that's the homie George.
No, and he specifically like messaged me and said, no, actually ask him this.
Oh my gosh. to do the Mickey voice?
Yeah.
Voice? All right, well, here we go. I was not prepared for this, but oh, wake up, boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy, it's gonna be a magical day. Oh. Hopefully I hit the note.
I closed my eyes, I listened to it, I was like, wow, sounds like I'm playing Kingdom Hearts.
There you go. Maybe that's a Mickey from Eva Beach there.
Yeah, Mickey. West Side
Mickey.
That's classic. You take the M and just flip
there you
it
go.
upside down.
There you go.
Wiki.
Wiki Mouse.
That's
Moki
classic.
Mouse.
Yeah. That's pretty good. Are you pretty good at it? Impression, like accents and impersonations?
Well, being Filipino and my mom is truly like a typical like Filipino mom. Like she's from the Philippines, and that's I guess I can do an all right Filipino accent, because of my mom and
You just
growing up in that culture.
Yeah, that's funny. Okay, speaking of your mom or parents, Thick ex-daddy ex-Saf wants to know, his parents ever got him one dug or what?
No, I'm still waiting for this till this day. Haven't got a dug yet. It's been
okay. If people want to donate one to you, where can they find you? Where can they support your fund for you getting a dug?
Just DM me and we'll meet up from there.
All right. And then Hybrid wants to know if he ever going the question is if he ever going to make a redo of Mom, I Like One Dog.
You know, I get that a lot. The more I hear it, you know, like the more it's, you know, like becoming a real, like, you know, consistent question. I might as well just do it.
People love sequels and
they
stuff.
They do,
and,
huh?
Even though it's not always the best, right?
You know, it's funny. Like, this is the reason why I do other, like, okay, so I was known from, I Like One Dude, right? And I wanted to, like, break away from that. And that's why I'm like, yo, I don't want to just be
a dude guy.
Yeah, like, I wanted to show, like, I could be versatile in comedy. And that's why I did, like, other styles, like, with the skits and, you know, like the one take Drake gorilla style, you know, just showing the different comedic side from me. But still to this day, because like I said, that 9-year-old, 10-year-old boy that I saw at the mall, you know, always, you know, is reciting my lines and hearing other people like, oh, do a remake video of that. I'm like, I can never run away from that. So I guess maybe in the near future, I'll go ahead and give the people what they want, right?
People love it. It's like a nostalgic thing, I think.
It is. And I don't know if I can hit that voice anymore, but I'll try. But
maybe you just do like a really low voice.
Yeah.
Like his older brother.
Yeah. Older brother of Kenneth.
Yeah. So JB.Kalihi wants to know, what is your dream job?
What is my dream job? To not be able to work, sleep, and eat. I'd say that'd be my dream job.
Sounds like more of a superpower.
Yeah. I don't know. I would like to do like comedic acting, I guess. Like my biggest inspirations are definitely Chris Tucker and Jim Carrey. I don't know if you can kind of see the comedy, you know, comparison, but yeah, like.
Well, it's physical comedy.
Yeah. And I like playing a character, you know, diving into a character and, you know, entertaining people in that way, and truly like the art of genuinely making people laugh. And I think that's why I continue making these videos. And, you know, it's a crazy world we live in. It's cold, it's cruel, and to get a laugh, even for that moment, you know, like and they get a kick out of it, I've done my job. So to be in that, you know, type of setting, comedic acting or acting in general, to like share that, you know, love of laughter, and, you know, that'd be cool.
Yeah. I think you're doing a great job, and
thank you.
We're all huge fans. I'm a big fan of yours. Just like I always enjoy a new video coming out. And,
appreciate it, my brother.
You know, it's something that we need. You know, like we can't get enough laughter in the world.
We can't. Yeah.
There's just no limit on that.
I believe the cure for life, you know, is truly like is laughter. Is you know, putting smiles on people's faces and just having that, you know, awesome time.
Yeah, and I love seeing you collaborate with other people too, or other comedians, local figures here in Hawaii. I mean, you guys have almost like a crew, and people love collaborations, right?
They do. They really do.
It's like seeing your two favorite sports players come on the same team.
Yeah.
It's like building a super team, right?
A super team.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah. Well, going off of that question, the same person wants to know if you could collaborate with someone in your video, who would it be?
Like here in Hawaii, or
I guess anybody. It's maybe one in Hawaii and just one like anywhere.
Well, here in Hawaii, I think I might have collaborated with everyone that does the same thing that I do.
A lot of people.
But
okay, I guess if it was just anybody.
Oh, definitely Chris Tucker and Jim Carrey. Like they're truly my 1A, 1B favorite, like, you know, actors or comedians, whatever you want to call them. But like, yeah, to this day.
Hopefully it can happen one day.
One day. That'd be cool.
Maybe if they come here one day, I don't know.
I know. Come to Hawaii, Chris Tucker, Jim Carrey.
Okay, AC_J says, I just want to know if Connecticut or Great can be my zaddy for Valentine's Day.
That is too fun. You can always be my zaddy, Johnny. That's my
he wants to know if you can be his zaddy.
Oh yeah, I'll be your zaddy. That's my homie John. Like he's another guy we do. Yeah, it's another fellow, you know, comedian, social media creator who does videos too. Yes, I'll be your zaddy, John.
I always enjoy when all that crew and then you and everybody joining in together and do these funny videos. It's super entertaining.
I love making videos with those guys because there's like, you got a tall 6'5" Tongan, you got two Samoans and Russell and John, and you got this New Zealand in Kulani, and you got this crazy Filipino kid and me. It's a true mixed plate, different styles.
Very diverse,
very diverse. When you come together and just, when we create, it's fun.
Yeah, that's fun. I also enjoy your gym videos with Russell. And then the other guy, I met him once. I actually had a job when I did my thing where I paid off my student loans, my race to 50K. I had this random job where I had to go to Makakilo and help move a couch.
Okay.
And so we took it to like their new place in Eva. And one of the guy that was helping us, I think he's the boyfriend of somebody there, Derek.
Derek.
Was that his name, Derek?
Derek Parker?
Yes.
Yeah,
and he was helping us. He was one of the guys helping us.
Derek
he was super buff.
Yeah,
and we just sat down on the floor after. We just ate empanadas, talked story, and I always see him at the farmers market.
Yes,
and then he's in your videos sometimes.
He's one of the coolest guys out there, and very, very funny. I think he when you say farmers market, right? He's a farmer himself. I think.
Organic. I think
exactly.
That's what it is.
Yeah. It's just funny that he's a comedic farmer, like a buff comedic farmer.
Super buff. Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, I always enjoy seeing those videos. Okay, so last one, and we're gonna get a little controversial here. So I hope you're ready. Maybe do some stretches, because I know not everybody likes to talk about these things, but maybe we're in a time where we should be talking about these things. So I really want to know your opinion because you're a public figure. Kavena Riola wants to know, what's your view on vaccines and the propaganda spread by leftists?
Oh, he's throwing the fastball at me.
Yeah.
Well, I believe in life you have a choice. What a concept, huh?
Wait, we have choices?
Yeah, apparently in certain places we don't, but
actually, no, in some countries you actually don't.
You really don't, yeah.
Living here in America, we actually should be very blessed and grateful that we have
very
choices
much so,
and freedoms to actually do things.
Yeah, about that, I mean, if you want to take it, that's your choice. If you don't want to take it, that's your choice, and that's where I stand. No one should be forced to do something they don't want to do. I mean, do you want to be forced to do something you want to do? Like, I'm pretty sure not. So
never.
I know some people will say it's about health and safety, but is it really when there's other things that's a part of the situation that tells otherwise?
Well, the news is like a trusted source, right? And when they're telling something to people just believe it, right?
Well, I will say this. Unfortunately, people lie, regardless of where the source is coming from, whether you think it's trusted or not. And I just, if I can give anything just to people, like, just do your due diligence to really do your research and not just rely on one source and like there's always three sides of the story, right? You got this side, and then the truth, right? I'm a nerd on sports, crumping, even skateboarding. I love skate history. And for me, I don't want to talk about something I don't know. So I will truly dig deep into, what I'm talking about, because I don't want to sound like a dumbass. And I'm not saying people are, wrong in, the information they get, but there is a lot of misleading information out there that, that they think that's just the only true source without like I said, peeling the layers. And because I'm not trying to put anyone on blast, but I even got doctors that tell me that they're real doctors in the medical field, and you would think that they would push one way, but they're actually not. And they would tell me certain things about in this case the vaccine itself, and the side effects and why it's not good and this and that. And I'm like, that's kind of interesting. You would think the doctor would kind of push that or whatever. So I don't know, like, people at the end of the day, they're going to believe what they believe, but it shouldn't be forced on anyone. It's your choice.
Yeah.
Like I said, and that's that, I guess, because people nowadays, they see a meme and they think that's the truth.
Yeah. Or whatever people see on the news, that if they're watching one side, they usually believe that and they don't want to listen to the other side. Like, say, well, you're watching Fox News, you're not going to listen to CNN. If you're watching CNN, everything that's said on Fox News, you're like, no, that's all wrong, right?
Exactly. And if I can give any advice, don't watch the news at all, because, man. Anyways,
if that's your trusted source,
yeah.
I'm doing air quotes.
Because, like I said, I'm not gonna say names, but like people in the medical field hit me up personally about the topic and would tell me otherwise, and it's like, don't take my word for it. You know what I mean? This is coming from doctors themselves saying, things about, the what's the topic in hand. So,
yeah. Well, do you believe that people actually have political agendas and like the government is actually looking out for our best interests?
Let me just take this sip of the Shaka tea. Once again, shout out to Shaka tea. No.
Simple answer, no.
I look at it like this. I mean, for me personally, everyone's going to think different, and you have your own life to live, but I don't need another man to tell me how to run my life or how to live my life. Like I said, people are going to think it's going to revert back to, well, it's for the health and safety and blah, blah, blah. Like I said, we can say that I kind of already explained that. But do I believe there's a certain group out there that has the best interest for people? Well, they're proving me right that no, they don't, with all these things that are unfolding and whatever the situation is. I mean, you look at this state alone. I mean, the rail's been how long already?
Yeah, right.
And you need more money? You need more money?
Where did the money we gave them go?
Where
was it? They've never been audited? Is that like not a thing for people in high? Like, we can get audited, but people higher up, they're just free to do whatever they want. Isn't that weird?
It's funny how they made over $2.4 million during the pandemic when they shut down the H3 for COVID testing. But where's that money going to? Someone's pockets.
We're gonna get some politicians on this podcast very soon. So I'm gonna grill all of them. We got to get to.
Please do apply the pressure. And nothing wrong with applying the pressure, because I'm sure the people want to know. Like, we all want to know the truth, right? We don't want to be lied to. So,
but if you believe a lie, it becomes the truth, and that's also the problem right there.
That's very much of a problem. Yeah. And to answer your question, no. And people got to realize and understand that not everyone's always telling you the truth. People do lie, That's all I got to say.
Well, yeah, mahalo for sharing that. I think it's great to hear somebody's opinion on it. And, this podcast is meant to be a judgment-free zone where people can share their opinions without getting mad at each other. Like, even if I agree or disagree with you, like, that's totally fine. And I think
that's how it should be.
Come to a time where we're so divisive, where it's like you say something or you do something that I don't like, then I automatically hate you or put you in a category where I look down upon you or you're ostracized, whatever it is. And I think that's like, I can't believe we're at a point in life where after all the progress we made, we're like we can talk about the progress of, not saying certain words anymore. We've come so far with not using certain like derogatory terms. But then, and since like the last, I don't know, couple years, especially with like politics, like Trump, Biden, all that stuff, we've just taken so many steps back, and we're just like opposed against each other. Like, if you don't support this, then you're against it.
Pretty much. Yeah. Pretty much. And that's pretty sad, because it's like, we should just be loving one another and just, aloha, respect the person's opinion. If you don't agree with it, that's okay. Yeah. Just, don't have to shun the person or, put them in a bracket where,
Well, I think that's
hate or whatever.
That's the problem with like propaganda. Why this person said propaganda? They use the word propaganda because that's what it causes. It causes divide. Where you see commercials, so many commercials on TV saying, hey, take the vaccine. Hey, do it to protect everybody. I remember seeing one where it was like, they made it so dramatic. It was like black and white. This little, do you know that one? The little kid walking with a backpack, like, it's gonna get you. Like this virus with, I don't know what's the survival rate, like 99%, is gonna get you and destroy you and kill you. Just like, okay, we can promote vaccines, you know, you can do that, healthy living, whatever. But we don't have to make it so dramatic where this is gonna kill everybody. Well, we're all gonna die.
This is a great segue, especially being here on this island, in this state. You mentioned healthy living. Wasn't the Department of Health saying not to work out and eat healthy?
Yeah, that was dumb.
This is the only time I get very controversial, but that was a dumbass remark.
I think everyone on like both sides did not agree.
And
with
I
that.
love how they deleted the post right away and changed their whole, like, wait, they don't. Yeah. So are you saying you don't believe what you stand for? And you know, because now you're switching up. Like, oh, what's going on? Oh, because you're getting the backlash. I get it.
Yeah.
All right. I'm sorry. That's the only time I'll get really controversial because I was just like, I shook my head when I saw that. I was like, wow, we are really going half-ass backwards in this world.
That was crazy. If you didn't see the Department of Health in Hawaii, they posted a video in the beginning of the year where it was like an animated cartoon where it said eat healthy, or like New Year's resolutions or whatever. Eat healthy, cross it out. Exercise, cross it out. Something else, cross it out. Vaccinate your children, and then it's like thumbs up.
Yikes.
And it was a very controversial video.
Kind of like open up your eyes a little to see the possible propaganda of what, you know, certain parties are pushing, then you better open up your eyes, homie, because, you know, that's just very, very...
Yeah. Well, I think the best thing to do is gather data. Just gather as much information as you can. Talk with both sides, because I have family vaccinated and unvaccinated, so I get to hear both sides, and which I love because I get to hear people's opinions and where they stand and what they believe in, and I do my own research and I get to compare it and everything. Then, you know, just with comparing to my own like history and my own life. Like I was in Madagascar, one of the most corrupt countries. So Madagascar is one of the poorest countries in the world. If a country is poor, it means that they're really corrupt. So there's always a correlation to that. So Madagascar is really corrupt. All the politicians, like when there's like election season, you know, there's a lot of civil unrest. There's so much propaganda. And when I was there, I saw corruption firsthand. I saw people bribe people, like when you're driving to places, and either they just give money to the police, whatever. And then I worked with a community health organization my third year. I extended and moved to the city. So I worked with a local community health organization, and this is during the measles epidemic. So we had a whole measles outbreak, and I would talk to people in like local people in the region in my work facility, and they would over-report numbers. They would over-report numbers to get more foreign aid. And so after seeing that and seeing like everything happening now, I'm just like, oh my God, this is just like a corrupt country. And like, how did I not see this before when I was living here? But there's so many similarities to like what's going on with like corruption and like over-reporting in hospitals and all of that. So I'm just like, okay, that's the first time when I kind of thought like everything going on is kind of sketchy. And I'm not just talking about vaccines.
Right.
I'm just talking about just in general, just like how sketchy it is.
It's called fear-mongering. They love to, for some odd reason, put people in a trance and, you know, think that, you know, their world is going to end because if you don't particularly do this or that, whatever the case may be. And I guess that's the power of the media, right?
Mass psychosis.
Is that what it's called?
That's a word where I think Joe Rogan used one time when he was talking to somebody. And I know probably people hate Joe Rogan because they saw one clip of him and they don't actually listen to his whole podcast, which he has some great guests on all sides of all kind of different topics, athletes, doctors, professionals. I'm a huge Joe Rogan fan. I'm trying to be the Joe Rogan of Hawaii.
Hey, you're doing it, brother.
But it's just, people see one snippet of something and then they just judge. They don't take the time to see the full entire
like
story.
I said, people will see a meme and think it's automatically true. You know what I mean? It's just like, that's the world we live in. You know, they don't want to do their part of kind of just dig in for the facts, do the research. And like I said, I'm all about seeking the truth, whether it hurts me or not. You know, I'd rather have the facts in front of me, the truth, you know, and that's just what I kind of just strive for in anything I do.
Yeah, I mean, you're true to yourself.
True to myself.
And that's what I think.
And I hope that people do the same. Like stay true to yourself, and if you disagree with someone's opinion and how they feel, that's fine. But just respect one another. And that's the problem. People don't respect one another, and that's where like there's these tensions and division. Is just because you don't agree with someone's, like whatever. But yeah.
Hey, the truth will set you free, but first it will sting like hell.
Yeah, I really believe that. I really believe that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's cool we can talk about this, openly, because we're not going to be censored here. There's no censorship going on in the Hawaiiverse podcast. And
we live, baby.
Yeah, and it's cool. Somebody, a public figure like you, mahalo for coming on and sharing that with people, because I know people are pretty sensitive and they don't always want to share those things.
Right,
so
right.
Mahalo for sharing that with our listeners. So we kind of got really into that last Instagram question, but we'll go back to a few things before we wrap up.
Mm-hmm.
What are your plans for the future? I know off podcast we were just talking about a 5-year plan and all that stuff.
Well, I just want to be happy. As I got older, I believe mental health is,
Definitely.
like I've understand that like that's a very important thing. So I can't really give you like a definitive answer, but if I could give you some sort of answer, like in whatever I do, I just want to be happy, live a happy life, be healthy, and just continue doing and enjoying the things I love to do, whether it's dancing, playing basketball with the friends, going out and eating, stuff like that. So, I mean, as far as like a particular career goal, or I don't really have an answer for that. I would like to have a family one day, have a little small Kenneths running around the household and plant those seeds. But I mean, it's a simple life.
Yeah,
simple.
Local girl, howler girl, Italian girl. Anyone that will put up with you.
That's the first and foremost one. No particular type. I'm big on vibes. I'm big on frequency. If I can.
Do they have to be a dancer? Do they have to be?
No,
funny?
not at all. I mean, if I vibe with you and connect with you in that wavelength, that's my type.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right on. It's awesome. So just be happy and live a good life, right?
I'm cool with that. Yeah.
That's awesome. And you want to be here in Hawaii the whole time?
I've contemplated this. I move into the mainland, but here in Hawaii is my home. But then I thought, like, it's never gonna go anywhere. I can just go ahead and do my thing up there. I don't know. Right now, I'm here stationed in Hawaii for the time being, but we'll see where life takes me.
Yeah.
But for now,
keep an open mind.
Yes,
flexible.
always.
Cool. This is something I just want to know. I thought it's a cool question to ask. If you could have dinner with anyone dead or alive, who would it be?
Kobe Bryant.
Oh, that's a good one.
Kobe Bryant for sure. R.I.P.
Yep.
That's my
Mamba mentality.
For sure. Like, and I really adopted that. Playing sports. Being a street battler. The competitive side really takes over. When I'm in that setting, and to some it comes very aggressive, but just like the great Kobe Bryant once said, like, if you're gonna do something, do it to your best ability. And and Kobe, like, being a diehard Lakers fan, you know what I mean, even before Kobe got there. But I just remember when he did get there, like, I was like a 9-year-old, 10-year-old boy, so I grew up with this guy since his rookie year for the 20 years he played, and truly loved everything about his work ethic, even outside of basketball, and just his mindset. And I try to apply that into when I make videos. I try to, of course it's all fun and games, but I try to, make it the best I can, and, to share it with the people, and so they can enjoy, and, my work, and, hopefully they'll continue watching and stuff like that. So yeah, it'd definitely be Kobe Bryant, because he was the man to me. And side note, he was the only celebrity that ever made me, like, truly cried.
Yeah.
Because, like, I never met the man, but I grew. It's like he was my big brother. Watching grow up since he was a 17-year-old kid, all the way until he retired. Even life after basketball, just doing all the things he was doing, winning Oscars and stuff like that. Following his career like that, like yeah, when the news broke, like I was truly devastated because that was my bro, you know, like it was my man's, and he's the only person that was a celebrity of some sort I ever shed a tear.
Wow, that's very relatable because I'm a huge Kobe fan. I didn't follow his whole career. I only got into basketball after high school.
Mm-hmm.
But man, the way he carried himself and that just killer instinct, it was so fun to watch him. It was this like the coolest thing ever, and I was such a huge Kobe fan and it's crazy how somebody that you've never met in your life could have such an impact on you.
Yes.
And I remember getting that call. Like my brother's like, "Hey, Kamaka, the hell Kobe died." I'm like, it's just a joke because we hear all those all the time. Like somebody died. It was just a hoax. And then it's like I looked it up and I'm like, oh, this is true. And I was legit sad.
Yeah.
I remember I went on a podcast like around that time too, and I mentioned exactly what you said. They said like role model. They asked me who my role model is, and I was like, honestly, like Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
Like I've never met the guy. I was never a huge basketball person, but he really had an impact on me. He just because of his mindset.
He was built different, like as people say. And I remember my sister, she actually group texted me and my dad, saying that Kobe passed away in a helicopter crash with his daughter and the rest of the other peeps on board, and R.I.P. to all of them.
Yeah,
and
all of them.
I didn't believe it at first, and of course, I went straight to the internet and just try to find, do my due diligence on finding, the real answer. And yeah, of course, it was all over all the sports outlet media and, everywhere else. And I was just like shocked at first. Like I literally just saw him. I think him congratulating LeBron. I guess LeBron passed him in was it points a couple days prior to his passing in Philly, Kobe's hometown. So it was like, man, he was just there, and then now he's gone. It was just like, wow, and it really hit me because it's like for all those 20 plus years of knowing him since he was like a high school phenomenon, and your favorite player playing on your favorite team, winning all these games and titles and just experiencing like the triumph and victory and even the losses. Like it was just like a crazy ride, and just hit me like, wow. Then I started like tearing up, and it's just like, sheesh, like that just shows the impact that, I remember my friend, I think a couple of days after he asked me, very local boy, he's like, oh, why you cry? You don't even know the guy. I'm like, and that just, the mental, like there's levels to this, and it's like, just because I don't know him, I never met him, whatever, that doesn't mean like he didn't like shape me or move me or impact me in a way to do what I do in my craft. And it's a great segue to why I do what I do. Like I love sharing laughter and that's why I like being funny, to express that with other people and make them have a good time, whatever. And then even if it's just for the moment, because I've gotten people where they hit me up saying like, yo bro, you don't know what your video's done to me. Like guys from prison like tell me like, you saved my life, or my daughter's in the hospital, and for her to see your videos like this and that, like put a smile on her face, even if it's for that moment. I've done my job. And if I can continue inspiring people in that way with this craft that I have, this platform, then like I said, I'll continue on doing it. Like, believe it or not, I don't really get paid for this. I just for the sheer, from the kindness of my heart and the sheer love of making people genuinely laugh. You know what I mean? Like, it kind of just odes back to Kobe because of what he's done in his, work and, with his mentality and just how he truly, like, elevated his, not just sport of basketball and him as a basketball player, but just, like, as a human being. And just, there's levels to this in life, So, and just picking his brain like that, watching hella documentaries about him and, just watching him play in general. And just, like I said, I just use that same concept, that Mamba mentality into what I do, and just in a different way, which is comedy. So, yeah.
Love that. I'm on the same page. And I think when it's all said and done, when we're really old and we pass on, like you're going to leave a legacy here in Hawaii, at least here in Hawaii, right? And I think that's such a cool thing that you can hold on to.
When you say it like that, that is a pretty cool thing.
It's super cool. You're in a way you could be like Kobe Bryant to somebody else.
And that's fine. And if it inspires them to, be great into whatever they do and carry on that legacy, then yeah. Because at the end of the day, here in life, because we are here temporary, right? Like, I believe you're put on this earth to live, learn, grow, love, experience, share. Once people understand that concept and take the hate away, take the division, take the, and just continue to level up, I think this world will be a better place. But
yeah. I hope people are listening to this and taking it to heart, because we need a lot more aloha and less judgment.
Yes, for sure.
Here in this world. Speaking of being judged and judgment, because you're such a well-known figure, do you ever feel the social media pressures? Like, I know we kind of touched upon it a little bit, but does it ever get to you where it just like it burns you out, or you're just like you don't feel like you can share your true self sometimes? I know you said you always share your true self, but it's a struggle. It's a struggle to a lot of people.
Yeah, I feel like the only ones that really know me is my close friends. But I do get this perception where, obviously we've been talking for like the last hour, and you can tell that I'm not like, like all the time. Like, there's a time and a place.
I was hoping it would come out at some point.
It was going to come out sooner or later, but I believe there is a time and a place. And, when I made my Instagram page, like, I just made it solely, for entertainment purposes. And I'm only, if you look at it, it's just showing one side of things. Sometimes I show like, okay, I throw sports here and there, dancing, but like for the most part, it's just my comedic side. But I get this perception where I'm like that all the time, 24/7, like high energy, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, I like to chill too. And, I enjoy my Taco Bells and, watch my soap operas. Yeah. I don't really watch soap operas, but yeah, like, like, sure. I'm a normal chill dude. And, I could show that, but I built this thing where that's all they want to see. So I just kind of stuck with that. So, if people really want to get to know me, I'm always open to conversate, meeting new people. Like, I love, talking and connecting with people and
connecting.
I like that. So yeah, what was your question again? I'm sorry.
No,
did I lose
the pressures of social media and everything? You
so
perfectly.
Like, at one point it felt like it was a job, like always trying to like keep up with the Joneses, and then I had to snap out of it and like, no, Ken, you said you were true to yourself. And like, I always had to feel like I needed to get this particular video at this deadline, whatever. Like, I'm gonna just make it when I want to. And like I said, at the end of the day, since day one, if you want to follow my journey, you can come on. If not, there's the bus stop's right there,
Yeah, and there's a lot of other people that you might like.
Exactly. Yeah. So thank you for the people who are that still continue to support.
Real ones, the OGs.
The OGs that, still going with me, that we're going to ride together. So.
Cool. Well, you kind of answered this question, but maybe you might want to add something else to it. Well, what is something you wish people knew about you that they probably don't know?
Outside of just being a normal chill dude, I love deep conversations. I really do. Like I said, just going back to what people perceive me as this funny dude all the time. Like, I don't know what they think, but I assume they think I'm this high energetic dude 24/7, when really I like learning about life, whether it's, the things that I love in life. So in sports, whatever, like just researching. I love history, even though I didn't really pass in high school on the history subject side, but just always growing as a person, trying just to be the best person I can be, and then that's just like truly like being a jack of all trades, and just like I said, leveling up, right? Like, am I confusing myself?
No.
Am I answering this question correctly?
No, it makes sense. And
okay.
I just from like knowing you and hearing all your stories, it does sound like you're pretty much a jack of all trades, and you're always trying to get better and grow and just learn about things. And I think the only way to do that is by having an open mind.
You have to have an open mind, I believe, because if you're just sticking to one script, it's like, you know, maybe the other script is better, you know, and you will never know until.
Yeah, if you're set in your ways, then you're gonna limit yourself and you're gonna close yourself off to a lot of great things that could possibly come your way.
I believe that. Definitely have to have an open mind when you look at life, you know. It's perspective, right? So
you say you like deep conversations. You had a podcast, right?
I did.
It just came to me. You had a podcast, Questions from a Hat.
Rants from a Hat.
Rants from a Hat.
Yes.
Oh man, I just remember that. When I got Wi-Fi my third year in the Peace Corps, I was just trying to catch up on everything. And then that was around the time you had that podcast. I listened to some of it.
That's actually more so my friend's podcast. She wanted to. She thought it was a great idea. It was a dope concept, like, you know, gather questions from, you know, your peeps, and you know, you put topics in a hat, you know, just pull it out like a rabbit and go from there. But yeah, I mean, that was more so hers, you know. I just kind of tagged along.
So you're just like a co-host?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah. Well, why did we bring this up again?
Well,
deep conversations.
Deep conversations, because I figured, you like to, you know, talk and have these conversations, and on the podcast, it's like the perfect time to do that, right?
It's the best.
Yeah, there's not a lot of times in this life where you can just sit down with somebody hour and a half and just talk stories without any distractions and great tea.
Yes. Once again, shout out to Shaka Tea.
Yeah,
this is fire.
Did you ever think about making a podcast? Like your own podcast or a show or something?
I did at one point. More so sports. Like I said, I'm a sports nerd.
Like a sports podcast, like a fantasy football,
something like that.
Podcast.
Like a little, you know, trifecta of all baseball, football, basketball, and just kind of talk about like the current news and just, you know, make it fun like that. But I guess it's just making funny videos for now.
Well, you never know what could happen, right? Things are always changing.
Yes.
Cool. Well, so again, mahalo for coming on the podcast and talking stories. This was super fun.
Thank you for having me.
Do you have any last things you want to share? You know, final pieces of advice you want to share with people?
Going back to what I said earlier, you know, stay true to yourself. You know, like, especially in today's world, like, it's so easily like people can get sucked into, you know, them being out of, you know, their character and whatever. And like, I just feel like you stick to your, you know, just stay true to yourself, stick to what you believe in, stay, you know, like, even if you lose people in the process, you know, like, you know, what am I trying to say? Just, stick to what you believe in, you know, stay true to yourself, be kind to people, share love, don't ever stop learning and growing, in whatever you do. Drink water.
Drink water. Yeah, yes. You have your big water.
I drink about 1.5 of this bad boys a day.
How many liters is that?
This is a 1 gallon.
1 gallon.
1 gallon.
What do I have on my hydro flask? I got.
There you go. What is
40
that?
40 ounces, 1.18 liters. So this is that's probably like 6 of it or something. I don't know. But I need to drink way more water. I thought drinking that was a lot.
I love water, yes.
Yeah. And, you know, keeping your immune system healthy, you know, keeping yourself healthy.
Yes.
You know, you got to keep yourself happy or you can't make other people happy. So
it's very true.
It all works hand in hand. All right. Well, make sure you guys go check out the giveaway as well on Hawaiiverse, and then go check his stuff out on YouTube, Instagram. What are your socials?
Honestly, I'm just on Instagram, really, which is at Connecticut Great. I mean, I have a TikTok, but I haven't touched that in like 2 years. That just shows the lazy artistic side of me, where I'll just stick to one platform.
Well, you're a working man too. You got to pay the bill somehow.
Right? It's 24 hours in the day is not a lot. So to make it easier for people, you know, you can just follow me on Instagram. That's pretty much what I really use.
Not so much into YouTube anymore.
I mean, no, but that doesn't mean I won't get back into it, and possibly in the near future.
Okay.
But yes, for now, just Instagram. That way, it's easier for people. Just one little source. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, awesome. And I hope one day you get your dug.
it's been 15 plus years. Let's not make it another 16 or so.
All right. Well, mahalo, Ken, for joining us on the Hawaiiverse podcast. Check us out on Hawaiiverse.com, the best place to support local. Spread aloha, be kind to one another, and mahalo for listening to us today. New episodes every Thursday, so make sure you follow us and leave a review. I'm your host, Kamaka, and you'll hear me next time on the Hawaiiverse podcast. Ahoy ho.